have joined us in person via Facebook or Zoom. For those of you who are in person, welcome, and please turn off your cell phones or put them on silent so that we can have an hour free of the outside world. We began our Wednesday evening service with a pre-service meditation. So I invite you to get still and close your eyes. I like to put my feet down flat on the ground. I like to put my back against the chair, breathe in and out, and just enjoy the meditation, focusing on your breath, breathing in. I like to breathe in God, and I breathe out all that no longer serves me. And I breathe in God, and I breathe out all the past and the future, and just stay in the presence with God. And when your mind wanders, just gently notice it without any judgment, and just bring your focus back to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And if you have a mantra, silently say it to yourself. If you would like to get a mantra, I'm sure that one of our practitioners can help you after the service. Enjoy. And so as our meditation comes to a close, gently bring your awareness back to your surroundings, into your bodies, and as you feel ready, open your eyes. Welcome. Welcome to those of you who have joined us while our meditation was in progress. For those who are in person that came in after the meditation started, please turn off your cell phones. Thank you. We're so glad to have you here, virtually or in person. Now let's begin with the opening chant, God is in this place.
God is in this place. God is in this place. God is in this holy place. God is in this place. Love. Love is in this place. Love is in this place. Love is in this holy place. Love is in this place. Joy. Joy is in this place. Joy is in this place. Joy is in this holy place. Joy is in this place. God is in this place.
God is in this place, and this place, and this place, and every place. Anyway, please join me in prayer. As we come together, we recognize that God is good. God is love. God is here, in us, around us, under us, through us, above us, everywhere present. God is. God is the good of which there is absolutely no opposite. And I absolutely know that there is nothing that can separate me from my Creator. I am an emanation of the divine. And I know this for myself. I know this for each and every one of you in person in this sanctuary, on Zoom, on Facebook Live, and every being everywhere. We are all emanations of the divine, and we show up as love. And I speak my word for this evening service, absolutely knowing that God is in this room. And God is absolutely guiding every part of the service. It is a blessing. Our church is a blessing. And we are so, so blessed to have our soloist Darius and Sam on piano. We are blessed by Adam's talent on the lighting and the sound. We are blessed by every volunteer and every staff member that puts together this service. And I absolutely know that our beloved Reverend Sydney is guided by God's word and God's love as we have the service today. I absolutely know that she speaks the word of love and kindness, and all of it is done with love in our hearts. And with a loving heart, I release my word into the law of mind, just grateful. And so it is, and together we say, Amen. Please join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you.
In the stillness, in the silence, feel the sacred surrounding me. I surrender to this moment. I open up and I find peace in the stillness, in the silence. I feel the love inside of me. I surrender to this moment. I open up and I find peace. Let my soul speak with each heartbeat, with every breath I take. In the stillness, in the silence, I feel the light inside of me. I surrender to this moment. I open up and I find peace. Let my soul speak with each heartbeat, with every breath I take. In the stillness, in the silence, feel the Spirit surrounding me. I surrender to this moment. I open up and I find peace. I open up and I find me.
Wow. Ah, Darius, beautiful. Is that one of yours?
It's Harold Payne, who will be here on Sunday.
I know, Harold. That's wonderful. Ah, the power of a sharp 11 over a major chord. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. All right. In this moment, I surrender and I find peace. In this moment, I surrender and ta-da, I find me. I find me. You know, I want to set my clock so I'm staying clear about what I am doing here. So just give me a moment here. I have a tendency to talk for a long time. You might have noticed. Okay. All right. Who prays to God? All right. Who prays from God? Ah. So we want to pray to God. We want to pray to this idea of a power and a presence that is absolutely going to protect us from ourselves and heal us and lift us up and save us and change us, transform us, do all of that. And yet, if we are still praying to, I want to suggest we might be able to shift that and really, really, really up-level and change our lives. When we begin to pray not to God, but from God, then we have not just access, or we're not just adjacent then to infinite power and presence, but we are that power and presence. God is in this place. God is in this place. God is in this place, this place, this place, this place, this place. And by the way, not just this room, but this entire experience that we are having on this planet, beyond this planet, the galaxy, all galaxy, that's the place that we're talking about with that song. This place. So this building, it's a lovely building. And I'm sure that those of you who are streaming at home, you have a lovely home. But that's not what we're talking about. It's not the building that gives us the power. This church is a beautiful church, but it's not where we get our power and our source. It's we who bring in the sacred. It's we who bring in the sacred. And the same thing if you're streaming at home or from some other place. It's you who are invoking the awareness of the sacred. It's not the building. Church means community. When the apostles talked about, when the disciples, I like that word better, when the disciples talked about the church, they didn't mean a physical location. They didn't mean a place that we went to. It meant a group. It meant a community of people, a family, which is so descriptive of what we have here. So I was thinking about this idea of true healing, because I know that so many of us come into a place like this, whether it's a religious science church or Unity or Course in Miracles, Divine Science, whatever it is, because there's something in our life that has brought us maybe physically or metaphorically to our knees. That often happens. And sometimes it happens over and over. Right? And I believe that it's when we get to our knees and our minds, and if physically, if we have to go there, that's where we get to that place of absolutely surrendering our own ego, which is fear. You know, you've heard the phrase, ego means edging God out. There is a function for ego. There's a healthy function. But what we often do is we hand over everything to that fear part of it that wants to protect unnecessarily, that wants to keep things here instead of exploring the outer limits of possibility. So tonight I really want to look at healing. And I want to do it from a place of actually not just talking about healing. I want us to heal. Okay? Now, depending on what book you're reading, in Course in Miracles, you might hear, we are all healers. And okay, I'm fine with that. I am a healer, you are a healer. But what I want you to know is I don't heal you. You don't heal you. It's the awareness. In fact, it's not even the awareness. It's the fact that you are already God. So, often we say we are fully, surrounded and filled by God, and yet we don't grok what that actually means. And the truth is, we are conduits, whether we like it or not, and that power and presence flows through us. It saturates us. We are immersed in it. We are absolutely surrounded by it. We are floating in it. We're sinking in it. We're breathing. Whatever word or phrase or visual works for you, that's what it is. And I think, too, that when we say things such as, there is one life, that life is God, we think that life is the experience we're having, right? This is a great life. What a life. What a life. I want you to think of life as source, as life energy, as that force, right? Star Wars? Life is the force that sustains us, that animates us, that is absolutely always, always, always at residence within us. Now, when I said earlier we're conduits for that power and presence, what's interesting is we hear that word and we think, often, I think, in terms of abundance. So I want to be open and receptive, and I want to know that I am making of myself the largest container possible for God. And, so am I bringing a thimble to the fountain? Am I bringing a water glass? Am I bringing a bucket? My husband and I recently got one of those inexpensive, set it up, put it in your backyard pools, because it's really hot in Canyon Country. It's like 113 on Thursday. So it's a plunge pool. So it's about 5,000 gallons, I think. I don't know, it might be less. I'd have to ask Blair, because I have to ask my husband, because the thing is, I do the spelling, he does the math. But I want to bring that pool. That's the conduit. That's the size of my vessel that I want to bring to this understanding. And I expect it to be filled. I expect it to be filled. I demand that it be filled. And by the way, it's already filled. I am already filled. So I want to talk a little bit about this idea of healing. In fact, as I was doing some reading and research today, I realized that today and tomorrow are what Unity Worldwide Ministries has designated, and they do this every year, as World Day of Prayer. And they do it every year, World Day of Prayer. And it is a time to hold the world in a consciousness of deep knowing, of deep loving. And that means whether it's about conditions and situations in Ukraine, in Russia, in Canada, right here with the drought, whatever it is, that we are holding the awareness and the knowing that right where all of that is taking place, the activity of God is there. When we can really truly remember that that which is within me is greater than that which is in my world, in my vision, and my perception, then that's when we heal. And I say that without any sort of sense of, if you haven't healed, you're doing it wrong. Because that's not what it's about at all. That's not what it's about at all. We are so comfortable in our filters and our perceptions. And why not? We were raised with them, right? The world wants to offer us ways to look at things. So there are a couple of things that I was looking at on the website for Unity about World Day of Prayer, and there were some questions. And one of the questions was, how can I elevate my mind? And I thought that's really relevant to what I want to talk about. And it went on, when I feel overloaded with my human circumstances, when the world presses in from all sides, how do I shift into prayer? What spiritual tools do I employ to calm human concerns, harness the power of mind, and open my heart? And the response was from a quote from Charles Fillmore, who was the co-founder of Unity. We have no independent mind. There is only universal mind. It's back to that idea of that force again, right? But we have consciousness in that mind, and we have control over that consciousness. We get to choose. We have control over our own thoughts, and our thoughts make up our consciousness. So we are here to not just become conscious of our thoughts, to wake up to what it is we've been holding and believing and thinking over and over, but to shift them, right? Charles Fillmore also wrote that true prayer brings about an exalted radiation of energy. Oh my God, think about that for a minute. An exalted radiation of energy. Can you imagine if we had the eyes to see and looked around this room, and for those of you who are streaming, looked around your home, whether it's members of your family or your cats or your dogs or your goldfish, and you could actually see this exalted radiation of energy. Think about that aura, that truth. That's the real truth. And when it is accompanied by faith, judgment, and love, the word of truth bursts forth in a stream of light that, when held in mind, illumines, uplifts, and glorifies. Not a bad deal, right? So how does healing happen? So a lot of my materials, in case you're interested, excuse me, I need some water. I've been working with a couple of different books lately, and one of them is The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. Of course, I work with a lot of different books, and I mean, I have a million on my computer, and I have a million in my library, both here and at home, and people will call and say, would you like some of my books? I'm retiring. I go, oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to be like one of those persons, one of those hoarders at some point. I'm just going to be buried under books, and they're all going to be written by Ernest Holmes and Thomas Troward and Fanny Flagg, I guess, you know, but So why don't we heal? And how does healing happen? In St. Francis's prayer, St. Francis asks of his source, where there is injury, let me so pardon. Let me so pardon. Meaning, allow me to be a person who gives others healing energy. Bring higher spiritual energy to the presence of the lower, diseased energy. And it not only nullifies that lower energy, but it converts it. It converts it to healthy spiritual energy. You know, energy can't be broken, it can't be increased or decreased, but it can be shifted and it can be converted. You know, it is said that the manifest world that we see around us, the stuff that is like this, you know, that we can touch, that we can hold, is simply, matter is energy slowed down. It's just energy slowed down into observable form. So why don't we heal? And this is from Wayne Dyer. And he wrote, reconnect to the disease-free, loving perfection from which you came, or reconnecting. It's a succinct statement of what the self-healing process requires. So we are called to reconnect, even if it's the first time that we are reconnecting, to the truth about our source, our force, that which empowers, impels, and has emanated us, has brought us to this place, because you and I are the only means by which it may express in the way that we do it. The universal mind of intention knows precisely what you need in order to optimize your health. What you must do is notice your thoughts and your behaviors, which are creating resistance and interfering with healing, which is the flow of intentional energy. The nature of God is healing. The nature of God is wholeness. In fact, the intention, the overall intention of this universe, of nature, let's just look at nature. Let's take it out of the realm of God altogether and look at nature. The overwhelming, overriding intention and undeniable direction of nature is towards wholeness and recovery and restoration. Always, always. If you watch and study, and you've seen where there have been real big fires, what happens is a few years later, there's growth. Because seeds are awakened by the flames, by the heat. That which has lain dormant comes forth. So nature will always take what it is given and turn it into life. Are we taking what we are given and allowing it to become life? Are we allowing it to become a greater life? Because that is what we do. That is what we have the capacity to do. That is what we have the assignment of doing. That whatever it is we are experiencing, if we can begin to say this too is life. It is life unfolding, emerging, and recreating in a greater way. That's healing. So recognizing your resistance is something that's entirely up to you and me. And we get to dedicate ourselves to noticing our resistance. So there's some very interesting areas of resistance. And I was looking at this. I want to find my notes because I thought it was really, okay, here it is. And this is from David Hawkins, who wrote the book Power versus Force. And what he says is that there are areas of resistance to healing, and these might resonate for you. If you don't believe that healing is possible, then you have created resistance to your intention to heal and be healed. So the first question is, do we believe it's possible? And what I want to say is, whether it's about finance or physical health or anything in your life, if it has happened in one place, anywhere, then it is possible and absolutely probable to happen every place, everywhere. So if there has been one healing from cancer, guess what? The energetic field, that field of intention, God, that force, is coded, already coded to heal everything everywhere, and that includes you and me. If you believe that it's possible, oh, but not for you, then you have more resistance. So is there a thought that's going on, well, everybody else gets to have a great life, but not me? There's more resistance. Really, really good to look at that. If you believe you're being punished by the absence of health, that's resistance. So these thoughts, and to the degree that we spin with them, they create a force field often around us. And we want to be able to have an openness to healing. We want to be available to it, right? We talk about being available to God. We want to be available to the knowing of healing, to knowing that it is our true nature. So I want to move past the intellectual and into the emotional and spiritual. What I want to do is that we're going to go ahead and move into a healing meditation. And as we do this, I want to ask, and we're going to get some information both from the people who are streaming. So I'm going to ask them to go ahead and, are we opening up the Zoom chat? Okay, so we have opened up the Zoom chat for those of you who are at home. And I think that we've also opened up Facebook. Well, you can chat in Facebook anyway. And so then Blair is going to give me some of that. But without being specific, what I would like you to do is, what is in the area of healing that is wanted, being called for tonight? Somebody give me something. Physical, absolutely. Okay. What else? Spiritual. Okay. Say what? Forgiveness. Yep. Wow. Yeah. New directions, new possibilities. Okay, great. Yes? Mental healing. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, what else? Anything? Energy. Oh, and that's really powerful because we are beings of energy, and yet isn't it ironic that we find ourselves needing more energy? And I am right there with you. I understand. Anybody else? Financial. I was waiting for that one. Thank you very much. Ding, ding, ding. That's a big one. That's a big one. And so, Blair, give me some of the information that they're not checking in yet. They're quiet. Okay, well, that's okay. I think that what we have talked about here is pretty universal, right? So we are looking at our life path, relationships, thank you, finance, there's physical health, there's mental health, spiritual, all of those areas that we want to really, really experience wholeness. We want robust wholeness. Yeah?
Financial security, physical healing.
Financial security, physical healing. All right. So these are pretty universal. These are standard. Is there anything in anyone's knowing that says, first of all, God is everywhere equally present, as we hear all the time from Dr. Mark. God is that power and that perfection. And you hear me all the time say that we are God beings in physical form. What is true about God is true about each and every one of us. Has God ever been sick? Has God ever been broke or poor or discouraged? Has God ever been lonely? These things are not possible, and yet in the human experience, we experience that. Yet, let's come back to the truth that we're not limited human beings. We are spiritual beings in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual laws. Now, we are on a human plane of expression, but we do not have to be limited by the beliefs, by the ideas, by the stuff that gets fed to us, whether it's from our friends, our family, or the news, about what's possible and what's not possible. So what I want all of us to do is to extend past that, to know that we're not praying to God, we're praying from God. We are praying from that which is already at residence within us. It is already alive, it is already there, it has furnished a home inside each and every one of you. And it did so, by the way, before you were born. It will continue to be there after you leave this plane of expression. And by the way, you were known by God, by the divine, before your parents ever even met. before that sperm ever crashed into the ovum, I want you to know that you were an idea of perfect expression necessary to God, necessary to expression. So we are here to unlearn. We are here to unlearn and to unbelieve. Does that make sense? Okay. Raise your hand if you agree. And do you agree that this is something we can do tonight? Yeah? Okay. And by the way, the intention to heal is what heals. The intention. And it's just that we are connecting with the divine intention. So the choice to be well is what opens us up and makes us available to wellness on every level, for everything. It is not a fault of you or me in those experiences where we don't. It is the intention to know the greater truth that we are. That which is within me is greater than that which is in the world. That which is within each and every one of you is so much greater than that which is in the world of experience. So I'm going to invite everybody to just get comfortable. If you have something in your hands, I want to invite you to put it down. And I want you to just simply relax. I find that when I close my eyes, it works for me because it shuts out distractions of physical nature. But if you are more comfortable with your eyes open, then go for it, baby. That's fine. So what I want you to do right now is just begin to be aware of your breath. And we recognize that we are in a field of infinite intention, infinite presence, infinite life, infinite knowing, and infinite joy. This is the nature of God. We recognize that here tonight we choose to focus our very breath on being in coherence with the truth about who we are. There is one life, one mind, one power, one presence, one infinite intention. We call it God. We call it love. It is both source and substance. It is energy. It is matter. It is all that and so much more. So we allow ourselves now, and we invite that mind within us, that human mind, to release any resistance for this time, any other agenda, knowing that we can certainly pick it up again on the way out the door. We'll keep it safe for you. But give it all up, set it down, and move into a seeing and a knowing that the energy of God is alive and lighted within you. At the center of all life, at the center of my life, of your life, is only light. It is absolutely the light of God, the power, the presence of that divine force. If we call it mind, we call it God, we call it goddess, we call it love, whatever we call it. It matters not, but we say yes to heeding the call from that right here and right now, knowing that that which we are experiencing in this life is our invitation to experience a greater connection with Source, a greater knowing of God, a greater knowing of life. It is that. It is that which pushes us to say yes to the vision. So that pain which may have pushed us to be here, that pain which might have brought us to this place, to this time, indeed is pushing, because it is pushing us to move into that higher vision, into the vision of wholeness, which is already present, already at residence within us, already the truth of who we are. And right now, I invite each of us to visualize dropping the veil of resistance. Just let it go. Dropping the veil, the filter of fear. Dropping any filter, any veil that is between the divine and the divine that you are. I surrender to peace. I surrender to me. You are the divine. You are already there. So I now call forth the deep awareness, and I hold that for each of us, knowing that if the experience right here and now is showing up as a physical issue, as a physical problem, be it a common cold, be it AIDS, be it COVID, be it cancer, be it anything, we give it over to God, which is no thing. That presence that only knows health, that is greater than that which is within me. So I know that the truth of God is now expressing in all physical expression, all physical activity as radiant, perfect wholeness, radiant, perfect health. No matter what the doctors have said, no matter what it is, we go beyond diagnosis and prognosis because we know that those are simply words to protect legality. And we move into the spiritual truth, which is there is only the wholeness of God. So for that physical experience, I invite you to hold it in your mind with love. Where once you might have rejected it or resisted it, I invite you now to simply embrace it, to bless it, to love it, and to ask it if there's anything for you to know about it. Is there information there for you to know? Be willing to hear that information. And whether you get that insight tonight or tomorrow or next week when you're doing dishes, if there's something to know, you absolutely will know it. We live in the infinite field. So whatever it is physically, I declare and know the truth that God within each of us is greater than that experience that is seeming to be not God. We invite God to step in. We invite our awareness and our perception of wholeness to be greater. And we contemplate that truth. We are mindful of it, and we invite it, and we say yes to that. Yes. We say yes, not just to the possibility of healing, but the probability of healing, knowing that if it has happened once anywhere, it can happen always, everywhere, including right here and right now. And I declare that, and I know that if that experience is about finance, is about supply, is about prosperity, whether it be money, whether it be freedom, whatever that expression seems to be taking the form of, that the infinite power and presence that we call God, divine mind, intention, source, force, presence, power, is always flowing and absolutely floods the experience now because we are willing to drop that veil of limitation and fear. And in its place is the deep knowing that was there before birth that God is the source. That source will not be governed, will not be limited, will not be restricted. So neither will I and neither will anyone who is within the sound of my voice. We are partnering with the divine infinite partner And in that partnership, there can be no limitation. So we release that idea, knowing that it is returned to the nothingness from whence it sprang, whether it came to us from parents, from friends, from TV, from any experience. We know that the experience and expression, the activity of God is greater than all of that. And we open up the floodgates to the flood of good, of abundance, of supply, of knowing that we have all ideas. We have all expression. We have all possibility. I am that I am, and I am open and welcoming and abundant now, for I am God's beloved creation. And as I speak any of these words in the first person, I invite you to claim them for your own. And if the need is appearing as a need to forgive, I know that the nature of God is movement, it is freedom, it is flow, and nothing can stand in the way of that. And that the deepest, most true forgiveness is forgiveness of self. How wonderful to know that God has never held anything against me. God has never held anything against anyone. So we move into a higher knowing that we are here to be about the Father's business. We are here to be about the business of this infinite life. We are here for that. We do not allow ourselves, I do not allow myself anymore to be weighed down by judgment, by pain, by resentment. I let it go because I know that the truth of me is free. And I allow my life to fly free so that whatever is going on is free. And I am willing because I know that I feel joy when I let go. I feel free when I let go. And I feel infinite when I stop keeping score. So I release the score. I release the judgment. And if that need is appearing as a mental restriction or a mental experience, I know that the truth about me is the mind of God, is the mind that I use, I participate in, I think from, I live from, I celebrate from, and I know nothing less than the infinite mind and experience of God because I am fully connected, and nothing and no one can stand in the way of my experience of that wholeness, that mental health, that mental robust joy, anticipation, all of it. Nothing can stand between that, between me and that, including me. So I know that I am now free from anything which I thought or believed or experienced as less than whole. I am free. I am the beloved in whom God is well pleased. I know this is true for my spiritual well-being, for my spiritual health, that my spirit can never be injured. It can never be broken. It can never be separate from the truth that there is only that one power, that one presence, God the good, God omnipotent good. So my spirit now rises up. It rises up in assertion and in gratitude and in clarity as my divine spiritual eyes see only the truth that there is one life. I am that life. I am that life. I am that vision. I am that wisdom. I am that joy. I am that power. I am that presence. I am the infinite intelligence of this universe made manifest. And I say yes, yes, yes. And if the experience has been one in the area of relationships, how wonderful to know that my connection with the infinite love, the life that is God, the Spirit, this universal mind, universal infinite life, cannot be limited. And I demand and declare that it is showing up right here and right now as healthy, loving partnerships. That I am in partnership with God, and therefore my life is expressing in healthy, loving partnership with all of the people around me. I am in love with myself as God is in love with me. As God has a picture of me on its refrigerator, I know that I am God's beloved. And as I know this for myself, I know that I travel in this realm of all love, and I see all people as beloved beings, and my relationships are right here and now, expressing in that wholeness, in that joy, in that absolute bliss of expressing the wholeness of God. So whether might have been injury, I do indeed so pardon. And I approach now all my relationships with the knowing that that within me is greater than any experience. And it has never been hurt. It can never be hurt or injured. And I am the love, the infinite love of this life in full expression. Nothing and no one can stand in the way of that, including me. And I speak my word too for those people that we know in this world are having an experience, be it a pandemic, be it poverty, be it food insecurity, be it loneliness, whatever that experience is. I know that the truth is that there is only one power, not two. And I demand, we demand, that it now show up in robust, infinite, celebratory form as all that could ever be desired or ever be needed. Because I know that that desire is the thing itself saying, I am here. Let me in. Let me out. Let me express as you, in you, around you. That is the joy that I bring. For that is the joy God is within me. God is the love that I am. God is the joy that I am. God is the truth that I am. God is the life that I am. God is the wealth that I am. God is the health that I am. All of the above. All of that. I speak my word for my cats, for my dog, for any animals in my experience, knowing that those beloved four legs or winged or crawling shelled creatures or swimming are all expressions of the divine. And I know that only good, only God, only good, only God, and that the life of God is flowing through them, animating them, restoring them, bringing them to that clear, perfect expression of life which I know as life made manifest. I speak my word for this church, knowing that it is a sacred, wonderful place of experience, of expression, of growth, of possibility, of community, and that we continue on this path. And we flow. We flow with the yes. We flow with power, with possibility. We flow with creativity and genius. That is what we do. We all bring it to this place, and we carry it with us as we go and touch the world. And if there is anyone in my life, in the life of anyone who hears me, any concern for a family member, for a child, for a spouse, for anyone, I know that the mantle of God's love surrounds them. I am certain that they are blessed and they are healed. I'm certain that they are blessed and they are healed. I let myself go. I release my responsibility for healing them, knowing that the power within me does the work. I let that be the healing. I let that be the truth. And I stand back and I observe, yeah, this is the truth. I let it be so. And so as I bless this church and all paths to God, I bless all mosques, temples, ashrams, synagogues, any place where people gather to know that there is more. I know that we walk on holy ground because we are holy. We are holy. I am the holiness of God made manifest. And I know this for each being whose path I cross, that there is only God, only God, only God, only God. I am grateful. I am grateful for this. And in that gratitude, I release this word. I release my attachment to being responsible for making it happen. and I simply allow and surrender to the peace. I surrender to the me that is God. I release, I let go. I know it is so, and together we say, amen. And when you're ready, I want to invite you to just simply come back into the experience of this room. Wiggle your toes a little bit. Wiggle your fingers. All right. And I know that we're running long. I just want to suggest that the qualities of God that are the truth about each and every one of us are faith, strength, discernment, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, divine order, zeal, release, and life itself. It's all there. That's who we are. That's who we are. Claim those ideas. Claim those ideas. Know those ideas. We'll talk more about those. And I'm so blessed that we got to be together. And so it is, and so are you.
I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Thank you. As you move into your life, I just want to say that was a very deep place that we went. Please ground. Please drink water. Hug, dance, move your body so that whatever is going on can be moved through you and released, because we do release things in a physical way. So just allow them to move through you, and if you feel a great surge of energy later on, just say, yeah, that's great, it's moving through me, and just say yes to it. If you can't sleep, that's okay. Get up and write about it, dance about it. Okay, this is the time when we invite you to offer your tithes and your love offerings and your gifts. And so what I want to do is invite you to take those gifts and to hold them to your heart. And would you say with me, from the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. Yes.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Rest in God and say
Shake, shake, shake it off. Shake, shake, shake it off. Come on up. We've got a few announcements.
I am here to announce the announcements. Woo-hoo. Okay, announcements for Wednesday, September 7th, which is today. We make it easy for you to make donations to our church. The text to give number and QR code are on your program, or go to nhcrs.org/give. Prayer with the practitioner is available after the service in person. Come on up to the front, or on Zoom. If you're on Facebook, go on Zoom and you can have prayer with a practitioner. Wednesday evening Taze service is next week, which is the 14th. Meditation will start at 6:50 p.m. The service is at 7 p.m. Join us September 14th for the Taze service. The evening will begin with the sound meditation, followed by practitioner Joanne O'Brien facilitating an hour of sacred chanting, readings, and meditation. There will be a potluck on the patio following, so please bring your favorite dish to share. Thank you. Tween Teen Junior Church returns this Sunday, September 11th, in the Ernest Holmes Room, 9:45 a.m. service only. This group is led by the amazing practitioners Jeff and Saba Doucette. It is perfect for youth ages 11 and up. Please bring your kids and have them bring their friends. This teaching is terrific, and they could start as early as possible as far as I'm concerned. Are you ready to shine? Woo-hoo. Foundational class with Reverend Steen starts September 20th for 10 weeks, in person only. At NHCRS, we teach empowering spiritual principles and life-changing ideas. Foundations is the first in a series of CSL-sponsored core curriculum courses and is a positive transformational class. In it, you will deepen your spiritual life through study, meditation, lively discussions, and an affirmative prayer technique we call spiritual mind treatment. It's life-changing for the better. It's just life-changing, this class. The cost is $240 if paid in full, $260 if paid in two installments. Please sign up online or in the patio on Sunday. NHCRS Elder Wisdom Group. This brand new group, facilitated by Reverend Tricia Klink, starts on Wednesday, October 5th from 10 a.m. through 12 p.m. in the junior church, and all elders are welcome. What's an elder now? Hello?
You get to self-identify. And this is one of those da-da-da-da moments, because one of Tricia Klink's passions is working with people and bringing her ministry of love and understanding to those of us who might not identify as 49 or are ready to stop identifying as 49. Not me, not you. Certainly not you.
A long way to go for that.
Anyway, this is a wonderful group, particularly if you are wanting more connection and more community. And they will be looking at things like aging and saging and the experience and what happens. And so this is just, this is our older members are the wisdom keepers. And so now we're getting everybody together. Look out.
How neat. This sounds fabulous. When I get older, I'm going to join. Grief Support Group. This group, facilitated by practitioner Carol Winokur, meets this Sunday at 1 p.m. on Zoom. Become a practitioner. If you or someone you know is interested in becoming a practitioner, please sign up on the patio on Sunday or contact Reverend Steen. There's a Zoom virtual patio before and after the Sunday and Wednesday services. So if you're on Zoom, you could ask the Zoom coordinator to just ask you to go on it. You could ask to go on the patio and talk to your fellow congregants. There's a Zoom meditation every Monday through Saturday from 7:55 through 8:15 a.m., and that's a Zoom meditation. And visit our website, NHCRS.org, to obtain Zoom links and more information about all our events, and to sign up for weekly e-blasts and monthly newsletters. Thank you.
Thank you. Real quick, I want to thank those people who get us here and get us into the service. By the way, you are just awesome. And Darius Lux, thank you so much. And we can get your music, iTunes. We can get your music on iTunes. Just wonderful. Thank you so much. Our practitioner holding vigil tonight was Liz Razy. She did it at home. Dean Regan gives us our Facebook Live support, and our Zoom support is from Diane Satterley. And this is so cool. She's in Missouri doing that. Ray Regan, who is Dean's sister, they're in Rhode Island. I think they're not, Delaware, thank you very much. And Alma, well, she's local. But the fact is, they're able to do this because this one mind, right? Oh, and technology. God bless technology. In the sanctuary, Adam Keshin, Colleen Butler, thank you. Doreen Remo, Brenda Jordan, Nikki Savaro, Blair Thompson. We said about Darius, we said about Sam, Gail, I'm Sydney. Let's get coffee. You are all so blessed. Thank you for letting me be here tonight. Thank you. Do you want to chase us out?
Sure. Let's all stand and sing Blessed Always, led by the wonderful Darius Lux.
Shake it off, shake it off.
Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say,